What if I told you that deep in the deserts of Peru, archaeologists uncovered hundreds of skulls so strangely elongated that people still claim they belong to aliens? It sounds like science fiction, but this is real history. In the late 1920s, Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello discovered a massive burial site connected to the ancient Paracas culture. Inside were beautifully wrapped bodies, rich textiles, and skulls unlike anything most people had ever seen. Long, narrow, almost otherworldly. And ever since, those skulls have fueled one wild theory after another. But the truth is far more fascinating than aliens. The Paracas people lived on the southern coast of Peru more than 2,000 years ago, roughly between 750 BC and AD 100. They were known for extraordinary weaving, complex burial traditions, and one striking cultural practice, intentionally reshaping the skulls of infants. That's right, these skulls were not born alien. They were carefully modified by human hands. To us, the skulls look shocking, but to the Paracas, these head shapes may have represented identity, status, beauty, family, or belonging. What seems eerie today may once have been completely normal, admired within their world. Human babies are born with soft, flexible skulls. That flexibility helps them pass safely through the birth canal, and the bones do not fully harden until later in early childhood. Ancient communities discovered that during this window, the shape of an infant's head could be gradually guided. The Paracas and other cultures used methods like cloth wrapping, splints, cradle boards, padded boards, or gentle pressure over time. The process sounds extreme to modern ears, but researchers say it was usually done deliberately and with cultural knowledge passed down through mothers and caretakers. And despite how dramatic the results look, studies suggest this practice generally did not damage intelligence or basic health in most cases. So no, this was not mutation, not a lost alien race, not a mystery species. It was body modification, one of the oldest human traditions on Earth. This is where the story gets even more interesting. Anthropologists believe cranial modification was often about identity. In some societies, different skull shapes may have marked different communities, lineages, classes, or spiritual beliefs. Among the Paracas, archaeologists have found a surprising variety of head shapes, some elongated, some more conical, and others with different profiles. That suggests the practice wasn't random. It may have communicated who a person was before they even spoke a word. Imagine living in a world where your head shape signaled your family, your status, your culture, maybe even your connection to the sacred. In other words, these skulls were not strange mistakes of nature, they were messages.
And the Paracas were far from alone. Intentional skull shaping has appeared in many parts of the world across thousands of years. Archaeologists have documented versions of it in South America, Mesoamerica, and even prehistoric China. At a site in northeastern China called Huatamíga, researchers found ancient skeletons showing clear signs of cranial modification dating back thousands of years, possibly among the earliest known long-term traditions of this practice in East Asia. Among the ancient Maya, modified skulls were also common, and scholars believe the practice was tied to ideas of beauty, protection, status, and social identity. So when people point at the Paracas skulls and say, "These can't be human," history gives a very different answer. Humans have been reshaping the body for a very, very long time. Smithsonian Magazine PubMed. So why do alien theories keep coming back? Because the skulls are visually powerful. They look uncanny, unnatural, almost cinematic. And in the internet age, a single image stripped of context can become a conspiracy overnight. But archaeology is all about context. The Paracas skulls were found in human burial sites alongside human textile, human rituals, and human cultural tradition. Their shape reflects intentional cranial modification, not extraterrestrial origin. The real story isn't that aliens visited ancient Peru. The real story is that ancient people were far more complex, symbolic, and culturally sophisticated than many modern myths give them credit for. And honestly, that truth is even more impressive. So the next time you see an image of an alien skull from Peru, remember this. You're not looking at proof of visitors from another world. You're looking at proof of how creative, expressive, and deeply symbolic humans have always been. The Paracas didn't leave behind evidence of alien